What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video on the channel. My name is Zachary Smith. If you aren't already, please be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single piece of content that I'm putting out over here, and leave me a like as we work through this. Be sure to comment down below how you're feeling about each pick, anything you've seen in the past, anything that you would like to see in the future, all that good stuff. Pretty much open to anything and everything. Sticking along with an exercise we have been doing, though. The Baltimore Ravens 4-round mock draft is here. It is finally their turn, starting with the 22nd overall selection. Only 3 picks within the first 4 rounds of this draft. They do not currently have a second-round pick. Obviously, all the talk really hasn't been focused on the draft for them. It's been all about the Lamar Jackson situation. If you can't tell, I'm a Pittsburgh fan. I feel like that kind of shines through, even if you can't see my background at times. So I am by no means a Ravens fan, but I am a fan of Lamar Jackson. And it'll be interesting to me to see how that whole situation gets figured out, maybe complicated even more. At the time of recording this, today was the day that Jalen Hurts just got paid a new 5-year deal in Philly worth a absolute bag. So that complicates things potentially even more as we work down the line here in the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Maybe try to figure things out. I don't even know what those discussions are looking like. So but that's neither here nor there for us. We are only the GM for this draft, and we don't have to worry about any of those other things. So 3 picks we're going to have within these first 4 rounds, and we will see how we can help out the Ravens for 2023 and beyond. So let's go. Be nice to see a shakeup at the top, but we don't get, Tyree Wilson at 3 instead of Will Anderson. Love that. And Anthony, it's almost like they want us to trade up for Anthony Richardson right now. And he falls to 16. Washington can just take him without having to move in whatsoever. That's amazing. Also, if I were Baltimore, I'd probably do this. But anyway, I'm curious. I have to look just to see what the Steelers did here. Yeah, I would do that in real life. Hopefully that happens. Just out of curiosity, check out some of these other trades. Mike Evans goes to the Bears along with 19 and 82 for Miles Murphy. The Bears continue to have a fantastic offseason. They're just moving back in picks. Okay, the Jets give up an additional second next year to move up 1 spot. Pretty good business by the Texans there. D-Hop going to Seattle for the 20th overall pick. He goes along with the 34th overall selection. Okay. So some movement here in the first round. We are on the clock. Can we make the case that the Baltimore Ravens should take Bijan Robinson? First off, I would hate it as a Steelers fan because Bijan is like the number. I haven't done my final grades yet, but he's going to be in the top 3 overall players of this class for me. Obviously, positional value comes into play here, and he's not going to go that high. This is probably about the range where you could see him go for sure. Probably the highest would be some people have said 8 to Atlanta. I really think the conversation starts at 14 for the Patriots and so on and so forth from there. But listen, J.K. Dobbins, obviously the injury stuff comes into play here, the contract situation. You could definitely make the case for Bijan. We're not going to do that. I think that they need to be looking secondary in this spot specifically, just because there's not a wide receiver worth taking here to me. I think the only receiver that they would potentially look at is Addison. I think he would make a lot of sense. Jackson Smith-Njigba is my wide receiver 1 ahead of Addison, but specifically for the Ravens, I think Addison is the better fit. So to me, I'm looking at Brian Branch. I think you can make the case for him on any team, and his versatility. After taking Kyle Hamilton last year, just a bunch of really good secondary players, and then Deonte Banks would be a really cool story there too. Nolan Smith, they continue to look for some edge help. I could do that one. Zay Flowers, I guess, would be the next receiver off the board most likely. And I wouldn't do it over him. So we're going to go Deonte Banks for them, a player that I really like. He's my CB3. I think he was the 4th one to go off the board in this situation. Or no, he would have been the 5th because Cam Smith went ahead of him too. But yeah, I really like Deontay Banks. I think he tested off the charts, just a really physical guy. He's almost like a Joey Porter light, doesn't have that same length, but he's really physical. Best probably in press man. I think he still needs to work on some ball skill stuff, especially like, in today's NFL where turnovers are just, they tell the story. Um, because you're going to get beat sometimes. You're going to give up the yards, but you need to have guys on the back end that can turn the ball over to survive. And so we'll see. We'll see if those ball skills are developed in Baltimore. Pretty good history with guys in the secondary. So, I trust them to develop Deontay Banks and get the best out of him. Hmm. Man, not having a second round pick for Baltimore is tough. Yeah, here we are on the board here. They might be, they could sneakily be a team that could look to move back just because of the lack of picks that they have. Um, Back on the board here, man. I mean, they need edge, and I don't love what's there at edge. I like Andre Carter. Zach Harrison actually screams Raven to me, but I don't love him in this spot. Um, what's the? I don't know what the plan is for OBJ and with Bateman. Like because Mingo and Reed, I like the two best out of the receivers that are left, and they're both going to play in the slot. So that's a tough sell. Should we just get Sam Laporta and just continue to have the Ravens' best pass catchers be tight ends? Um, what I think we're gonna do here actually is draft a little bit of a project offensive lineman in Matthew Bergeron. And I actually quite like the value at that spot. I think at the least he's a very good guard. I think because of his footwork, um, at the very least, if he's not able to stick a tackle, he's going to be a very good guard in this league. I'm curious as to the way that he's going to be. I don't know how he's viewed by the league. Like, is he being viewed as a guard? Because I actually like him a lot better. Like, he could go higher if you're viewing him as a guard. But I think if you're taking him, where they have him ranked, you're kind of viewing him as like a tackle that needs work. He's not quite there yet, and you can't trust him to play right now on the outside. If you're viewing him as a guard, I think he can start day one for you. Okay, and then our final selection here, I believe, right? Yeah, 124. Yeah, 157 would be in the next round. Um, hmm. There's some interesting names still out here for me. I want to get them a pass catcher, and I think at least for me right now, I'd be looking Michael Wilson. Just be, excuse me, because he offers something different in that room. I think too many of the other guys are like slot specific guys, and again, I think that's you might want to use Bateman there. I mean, OBJ could play in the slot too. Like, I don't know how they're planning on utilizing those two. We're gonna go with Michael Wilson, who I think certainly has the talent to go higher, but because of injuries, is going to be pushed down the board a little bit. If you're talking about just talent, I think he's a top 10 receiver in this class. But I think the reason he's going to go lower hasn't been able to stay in the field, so that's obviously going to affect production as well. And that's going to scare some teams off. But as long as the medicals check out and he's ready to roll and he can stay healthy and stay in the field, this is really good value in my opinion. So here we go: Deontay Banks, Matthew Bergeron, Michael Wilson for the Baltimore Ravens. And I feel good about this. I feel relatively comfortable knowing that, in my opinion, Deontay Banks can play day one on the outside. And I think that he fits kind of the AFC North corner mold as well because of his physicality. Matthew Bergeron, who's either going to, can play guard right away or you can develop as a tackle. He can play guard from day one and know that hopefully he's going to swing to the outside at some point in his career. And then Michael Wilson, who, if he's able to stay on the field, offers a really nice option at receiver as a pass catcher for Lamar, whoever that quarterback's going to be. Just hopefully he's able to stay healthy. So there we go. Ravens fans, let me know how you feel about it. Can't wait to hear in the comments how you're feeling about these selections. I promise there was no bias made with these selections. I have to do them for the Bengals and Browns as well, and there won't be for those ones. So let me know how you feel about those picks. Let me know how you feel about those picks. If you aren't a Ravens fan, just a fan of the NFL draft in general, love to have back and forth with you guys, what you would have done differently at those spots. Or in the very rare case that you agree with me, I'd love to hear from you in that case too. But again, if you are new, subscribe to the channel, leave me a like, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single piece that we put out over here. And next up, 23, the Minnesota Vikings will be on the clock, so we'll be back with that one. But until then, we'll talk to you. Bye-bye.